What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pokemon Rants. By definition, knowledge is facts and skills acquired through experience and education. But that's not really the dilemma that faces so many. The real question is, how do you apply knowledge to a world and an environment that's ever changing? This, my friends, is where the true game changers reside. So James at Z&G has navigated his changes in passion while merging his actions with the market demand. Just like when he found out he was paying sales tax for way too long, he continues to take in feedback, understand what those inputs are, and of course apply that to growth, learning, his future, and all while making sure it ties back to what he's most passionate about. Now, if that's not the deepest level of success, then I really don't know what is. He continues to lead by example, building trust throughout the hobby, and James truly is a pillar that so many look up to. So please join me in welcoming James to Pokemon Wonder. James, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here after months of delaying, so apologize about that. It's just constantly something. I like this. Just chat is already pretty funny, so that's
good. James is in bed, yeah. When it takes about a year to get James on the podcast, the best time I can catch him is when he's laying down to go to sleep. So I'll take what I can get. But I appreciate it, James. I know we did have a little bit of back and forth, but it's all good. We know how business is, family, life. You had a baby, everything in between. So fully understand. So I appreciate it. Yeah. Do us the generous intro, sir, and just kind of let us know, how did you get into Pokemon, and what was that kind of origin story for you?
Like most people, it was 1999. I think it was like in fifth grade, sixth grade, something like that. Played the game, Pokemon Red, and it was played like, I don't know. I think at the end the game was like 400 hours or something. It was just I was the one who put everybody up to level 100 and can't use rare candies. That's BS. You can't cheat. So and then got into Pokemon Silver. I can't remember. I'm guessing I got in the cards in 1999, but I definitely had some base. I think most of the stores that that try to get my mom to buy packs were they only had like Fossil, maybe some Jungle. So it might have been like a year later when I actually got into the cards. I remember a lot of base set 2, whole lot of base set 2 that was always everywhere. But yeah, did that, and then really started collecting my cards through probably like 2003-ish. I remember the last thing I played was like Pokemon Ruby, and I remember not really hitting like Red and Silver did. I think that was kind of the tail end. I think I went into high school then, probably, yeah. So it was like it just really was kind of fading away at that point. Remember as late I got in the cards was I had the actual like the e-reader on my Game Boy Color. Is that what it came on? Or was it Advance? I can't remember. Whatever the attachment went to, but I did have that, and I did actually one of the few people that probably actually swiped a few of those cards, like the Game and Watch and the Donkey Kong and whatever else that it came with, and I was like, man, this kind of sucks. And I think they were trying to grasp at kind of anything at that point to try to, because I think it was kind of waning, E-Series, and I had some legendary collection. I can't remember, but that was about the end. And then that was it. And then went on to, high school and college. Just kind of forgot about it. Yeah. And then like 2016, I think, never played Pokemon Go. I still have never played it. But I'm guessing, I was watching YouTube, and I'm guessing the algorithm kind of like started pushing Pokemon stuff because, it was popular. And so, so I just happened to go across some Pokemon content, and it was just like, these guys that were opening like booster boxes and like old vintage stuff. I was like, oh yeah. And I remember, Jim at Pokemon, he was grading stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what that
What
And
is this?
what is he doing? And he was so pumped about getting all the stuff and high grade, and so I kind of went down that rabbit hole, went on the E4, and just kind of started like kind of going down that whole rabbit hole. But
What year was this when you got back in?
it's 20. Well, I started finding out in 2016, but it was probably like really beginning of 2017 when I really started to get into it. I started my eBay store in July of 2017. So I think I had been for like 6 months, just taking it in, and looking at prices and figuring, it's like, should I start buying some of that? Like, I don't know. It's just, I remember a base set box there's a base set booster box on Craigslist, and he wanted like $750, and which was ridiculous at the time. It was like I'm never spending that much. That's on crazy. And it went up to like, I was looking on eBay, and it was like about the same price. Then it was like 800, and that was like 900, and it was like 1,000, and it was like sold on Craigslist. I was like, Lauren, we could have bought that, and it could have been $1,000 right now. Like, this is ridiculous. You should have done that. Like, I was really regretting that. So I don't know what was kind of the trigger point, but then I made a purchase at a gas station it's probably July of 2017. It was I still have the pictures. It was like basically all modern cards, all modern full art stuff that now is, from probably 14, fit like XY, like full arts and stuff. Right. Probably like close to vintage at this point. But I paid $200 for it. Yeah, I paid like $200 for it. And I really, I could have made money like piecing it all out. And I was starting to get into like looking at the grades and how to grade. And, it was, I just ended up selling the whole lot because like I just don't really have any connection to these like modern like cards. Like I just don't really have anything. So I sold it for like, I think it was like $205. So I made $5. Well, after fees, I probably made nothing. I probably lost money. But you like to tell yourself that
190. Yeah, you gotta say that first.
Yeah, you gotta say like you made $5. But I'd use the money that my parents had found my collection. Well, so I had actually graded those cards and got pretty high grades and sold them. And I think I made like, I don't know, $500. And then I used that to actually buy that and use that to kind of flip. But most of my best cards I had laminated, actually, because I was actually very particular about like keeping them pristine. So that's why like most of them got 9s and 10s. But I thought, when I was whatever age,
lamination
10,
was the way to go.
Whatever. Yeah, I thought if I had laminate, so like for Christmas, I asked my parents to get like this lamination paper. So I'd like put it in between, make sure all the bubbles were out, cut them out. And I was like, well, this will never be damaged now. But so now those are basically worthless.
Do you still have those?
I don't. I think I might have actually sold or gave them to somebody. I can't remember. I can't remember what I did with those. I mean, so 2016 was crazily, 8 years ago. So that's just kind of the start. I flipped that and then just went into vintage because I was like, if I'm going to really, kind of do this, I got to have stuff that I enjoy finding. And if I do, there was always a chance of like, I flip it and, I can't sell it. That was always kind of back then. It was like, there was a market, but it was a lot smaller. So it was like, you might sit on something for, 6 months, a year, just kind of having it just sit there. So it was like, I might as well have stuff that I like so that if it doesn't sell, at least I have it, but I mean, back then it was like first edition PSA 9 WotC, like you broke even on your grading fee, I mean, like after PCing out, I remember selling a lot of the like kind of the non-likable like Dark Arbok or like Hypno from Fossil, like the ones that people don't really care about. It was like you got a PSA 9 first edition, and it was like you put it for like $22 and you're just waiting, forever for it to sell. Someone offers you 19 and it's like, all right, I'll take it. It was
another loss.
But I had to, at first it was like, I'll grade the stuff, I'll keep the 10s, and I'll sell the 9s to kind of like make back the grading fees and
Right.
maybe make a little bit more. But then I switched, like, I don't know, a year or two in, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna sell the 10s because they're worth so much more. Like
Keep the
a
9s.
card, card will be worth like $200 instead of 20, and then I'll just funnel that into more, and I'll keep the 9s because I was like, oh, 9s look just the same
good
as
enough.
10s, and that's undervalued. But now that I've learned 8 years later, nobody cares. 9s are 9s. I mean, there are people that make a living like cracking 9s and like trying to get 10s, and they keep regrading and regrading. But yeah, I switched to that, and it was like 9s, and then all of a sudden I had a whole lot of 9s, and it was fine. And I was like, well, I just, the business was growing, and I was like, well, I just need capital, so I might as well just keep. So I was a collector at first, and I was flipper, and then I kind of got a lot of nice collections, so I was keeping them, and then I sold. So I've gone back and forth, and now it's back to like I just sold pretty much all of it except for some graded packs that I have. But and just use it for the business, because the thousands and we sell on average 1,000+ items a week, on our auctions, and I've come to learn that almost none of this stuff is rare. I mean, almost all this stuff is stuff that if I was really big into collecting when I'm like 50 or 60, like I can just buy it again. Like it'll be there. It'll be around. I mean, even the actual rare stuff, like illustrators come up every 2 months. Like it seems like a snap card that there's only 20 of them in the world come up on golden or heritage warranties every few months. I mean, it's like, so I was a set collector, so I'll always be able to find a Lieutenant Surge's Electabuzz in 10, in 50 years, if I really, am at that point where I want to be that collector again. So then here we are, growing that into flipping cards, and then doing box breaks of opening, vintage boxes and selling the unweighed packs. And I did some like box breaks opening the actual, packs as well. And then started Consignment. It's like apparently I just wiped Graded Gem out of my mind. But yeah, that was kind of a big deal too. We were a middleman, the PSA. We did like 100 and almost 30,000 cards in 6 months, me and my wife. Like I've told this before to people, it's like she has probably graded more cards in PSA than almost everybody. Like if we're at a Collecticon, and it's like, she has graded more cards than probably anybody here, tens of thousands. So it was a kind of a crazy time. But then that shut down, the PSA shut down. And then I kind of took a break for, I don't know, like 6 months, and I was just kind of a stay-at-home dad, because that was just a crazy 6 months of just, staying up till 4 a.m. and it's never getting, all-nighters, and just, just a crazy time. So I just took some time off, and then seeing that just was never going to come back, I kind of, at that point, I was like, well, we need to do something. And, Lauren had suggested for a while Consignment, which we had done some, I believe we had done some box breaks where it was somebody else's box and we broke it for them. So we kind of done that, but never really sold on eBay.
Right.
So yeah, started that in like September of 2021. Announced it the first week, nothing. I think the second week had one submitter submit 8 cards. Still uses us today, but his name is Jose. But yeah, he has 8 cards, and it started from there. And now we do average about 1,000 or so a week, sometimes 2,000 during the busier months towards middle to end of the year. Maybe a little less, like 700-ish at the beginning, like the winter months. But yeah, and now we have an office of 4 employees, and yeah, just building that. That's what we're doing now.
Childhood collection came a long way, didn't it?
Yeah, it sure did. Just I don't think I have those laminated cards. Unless they're somewhere, because we've moved from Phoenix to Flagstaff, and there's We still have boxes in the garage. I don't think I had those in it, which is kind of disappointing because I probably just gave them away. Those are kind of like they're like my best childhood ones, like Dark Charizard first edition, Shining Tyranitar first edition, and these Neo Destiny.
Perfect cards to laminate. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was not good. I didn't laminate, the fossil mucks and all that, so good job.
Good
job, me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pass on back.
Yeah.
So, to go back though, I think not that long ago, you and your wife Lauren were actually opening up Modern, and you were kind of putting them into a binder 3 years ago, roughly.
Yeah.
That stopped, I guess, at some point too, right?
Yeah, we still we still open. We will get occasionally like Target or Walmart or something, just get like an ETB or something, and kind of the new sets, and mostly she'll I'll just watch. Yeah, she's the pack opener. I'm not really, I'm too far down the rabbit hole to like know that I'm probably just wasting money, and I'm such a cheap person that I'm just I don't like lottery tickets. She does. I don't. So I do like gambling, but more of a higher odds in your favor.
Yeah.
But
more than the 90% of Pokemon loss.
Yeah. But it's fun still. Yeah, we still open it, and it's there'll be the bulk that my toddler will take, and it's just strewn on the floor, all scraped up. I always think when it's on the ground like that, I say, well, that must be why, like, there's like first edition base that are all beat up all the time. It's like, well, that's why, because they just took it and it's just, it's all over the place. But,
When did you stop working? Because you were an accountant for a while, right? That was your background originally?
Yeah, I stopped in 2020, in November of 2020. It was when being a middleman, it was like, the first month was like 9,000 cards, and which was like August, I believe, of 2020, and it was like another 10,000 in September, and then it was like 20,000, and it was like 40,000 like in a month, and I was like, I literally, it's just stupid. Like it doesn't make any sense. I'm definitely making way more than I am in accounting, and I'm working 40 hours in an office, and it's like, I could be doing so much more. So yeah, it was about that time that I walked in and said, so I'm grading Pokemon cards and I need to leave. It's just like, huh? I think I don't even know if they knew that I was doing that. But yeah, I think I'd also, in October of 2020, sold that base set box to Logan Paul for
right,
an absurd amount. So at that time it was like, also it's like, okay, so I got that money, and I am doing this, so it's like, what am I doing? At this point,
no more wasting time.
Yeah. So
okay, and your background is in accounting. Is that what your degree is in?
No, my degree is in finance and economics as a minor, which, I don't know. I took it. I got good grades, but it really didn't, actually like going out and flipping Pokemon cards taught me so much more about business than, business school ever did. Just negotiating and, reading people and knowing how to talk to someone and know it, when to be aggressive and when to not, and when to push the gas and when not to. And this business, like how to scale properly, they never, this is stuff they don't teach you, about, taxes and all this stuff. They'll teach you like theories and kind of, just not really a lot of stuff that's practical to someone just starting it, themselves. And so I've learned the most, 99% of it, just kind of doing it yourself and really growing it that way. Same thing with like YouTube. It's just YouTube is you can run it as just a creativity platform. You can run it as a business. Like do those search terms and tags and the right thumbnail to match the right title, and when to upload it, and what kind of trends are going on, and whatnot. But yeah, that's I was not in accounting, but accounting it's similar to finance. It's basically numbers at the end of the day.
Money in, money out. Money in, money
Yeah,
out.
it's kind of what I fell into. It was the job that I got was basically wanted an accountant, so I'm like sure, and I just kind of went from there and just kind of figured out something else on the side while I was doing that.
And here comes Pokemon.
Yeah.
We'll do a quick run through just to say hey in the chat before we continue on. I don't want to miss too much there. So I see Drew. I think I saw who was there at the very top. It was Dan. Catch 'em all collectibles came in early. Appreciate you, Dan. iFOMO. We also have Pokey Chef in the house. E-Unit. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Andrews Cards. I hope we can keep you this time, Dan. I know you had to go. Oh, good. We got Shining Cards and Collectibles here. Ray, good to see you both. We got Ponga in the house as well. Shadowless Jack and Drew, number 1 mod in the game. Good to see you, Drew. Appreciate you stopping by. Zach, R&D Pokemoners.
I just met Ray for the first time. I've known him for like literally. He's been in my comments, and I've talked to him for probably 5 years, and then just went to Collecticon in LA and met him. So that was
he's a great guy.
That thing works. Yeah,
good guy. I like him a lot. I haven't had a chance to catch up too much since Charlotte, but I was just pinging him the other day. I said, man, I've been missing you. You okay? Everything all right?
Yeah.
See, Zach gifted 10 memberships. Appreciate you, Zach, man. You don't have to do that, but deeply appreciate it, Zach. And we'll keep it running from there, but we got a few more. Thanks, everybody, for showing up, as usual. We'll try to wrap in some questions through the conversation as we go, so feel free to drop them in. And, of course, we'll get to it as we can. James, you mentioned it actually a little bit there in the beginning, and I want to go back to it for a few minutes and see what that experience was like. Your goal starting out collecting, I think, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but was to buy that base set booster box. That was like your thing. I needed to get to that. That was the goal you set yourself for, and you achieved it. And before you even sold it, you said it was $70K roughly, right? Is what you ended up buying it for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really flipping a whole lot of collections and grades, and then flipping those into Neo boxes, and then I traded to Dave Adams Card World, like a Neo Genesis box, 3 Neo Discovery First Edition boxes, 2 Neo Destiny First Edition boxes, and 2 Neo Revelation First Edition boxes, which were about 70-something thousand at that time. So, yeah.
Okay. Wow. That was quite the trade. So that got you to your goal. The first thing that you tend to think about when those things occur is, what was it like? You got there, you finally reached it. Was it a moment of euphoria? Did you find yourself saying, hey, was that it? Because that was a big one. And you have many more to come, and we'll talk about them. But I wanted to hear your thoughts.
No, it was just kind of, it was nice because I had the YouTube channel at the time, and there were, I could share that, just kind of, because I had, been, a lot of the videos were like I was waking up at 4 a.m. and just like recording a video of what sold that day. And, a lot of the early, so like probably the first, 50 YouTube subscribers were all like, I had emailed eBay and I said, I talked to a customer service rep and I was like, can I send a link to my YouTube channel to people that buy my item so they can like say, oh, here's the item, here's the guy that sold it to, and I can show it, and like maybe we'll get a subscriber. And I remember having to talk to like their manager, the rep, and it was like, they're like, yeah, I guess, because the item sold. So because you can't really send you can't send outside links, for the most part on eBay. So I was like really cautious. You didn't want to, ruffle any feathers over there. And they said like, sure. So, the first like, I don't know, 40 or 50 subscribers were all just from, sending that link to people who bought stuff. And then they found the YouTube channel and went from there. So yeah, I was able to, I had a lot of people that, built over the year or two, on YouTube that I could show that off. So that was fun. You know, just to just share that. And I think that's what a lot of people, you know, like in this hobby, just like the community aspect, and people like to share it. And, you know, if you're on Instagram or YouTube and it's kind of like, you know, showing off stuff that you're kind of progressing towards. And, you know, I mentioned it in videos that I was going for that. So that was fun. But, you know, a lot of it was actually, you know, you got it, and then all of a sudden you have all the years of working is just now tied into that
in one box.
like you can't, now I can't, it's like, wow, so I can't flip it, I can't do anything with it, just kind of have to sit there. And I didn't pay cash 70,000, but I'd taken $70,000 worth of flipping for years to get to that point. And now it's like, well, all right, well, now it's just now it's just
this box here.
Yeah, now it's just there, kind of sitting there. And then also it's like, you know, we have dogs, and, you know, we had, you know, at that time didn't have a baby, but it was like, you know, where do I put this? You know, do I put it in a safe, which means I don't really even see it, you know? And then it's like, you have to get insurance, you have to get a lockbox and put it in a bank, and then you have to wait in line at the bank and get your key and the banker key and put, you know, so it was like not really even that. Initially it was good, but then it was like just kind of a liability, honestly, because it's like I didn't have like $1 million, and 70,000 was just kind of like, you know, cool, you know, just kind of, you can just sit there. It was like the whole business at that point. But yeah, so it just kind of sat there, and I was like, well, I'll just keep flipping, and I'll just kind of start over, I guess, you know, just with start over again with the flipping, you know, and then kept going, kept doing you know, box breaks, which you know, boxes were going up in price, and, you know, there was demand there to have unweighed packs, and I was flipping cards as well, buying collections. And, you know, growing a YouTube channel, you'll start to not have to meet somebody, you know, at a CVS parking lot at 10:30 at night to buy a collection. Like, they just kind of came to you, you know, you kind of got an email that said, hey, I have this stuff, you know, you want to buy it? And, you know, so it kind of became easier to start to buy and flip collections. So I kind of just went back to where it was. And then, you know, 2020 came around, it kind of got crazy. And, you know, at that point, it increased in price so dramatically and so quickly that, you know, it was like, well, I can either have this box that I kind of got to keep hidden, and, you know, or I sell it and it can, you know, pay off the house in Phoenix. And it was just kind of at that point, it was like, we just need to do that and just set ourselves up and just move on. And really, it was really all about the journey to get it, honestly, you know, and just the goal of getting that was really the most fun, you know. And once you got it, it was like, just kind of said, it was almost like a liability at that point. So that was nice to sell it. And yeah, I guess that's a roundabout. That's a long rant of me saying it was quick. It was quick, kind of really, really good to get it, but at the same time, it was pretty, you know, it was nerve-wracking.
It was going to be short-lived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot to call out your wife. She also there's in the chat. I think she threw a trick question.
Well, I think Lauren is my favorite fan. Yeah, I think Lauren is the first one to comment. I send her the unlisted. That's people had at first. We you know, when we upload YouTube videos, is like, I was like, okay, I'm uploading now, because she always wanted to be the first comment. But now it's like, we learned, I don't know, a year or two ago, it's like you can just make the video unlisted, and I can send her the link, and then she can like comment in her own time, and then I can put it.
Then you can post it.
Yeah, some people, there were a couple times that some people, especially when I was like, you know, like August of 2020, when like every video I put out was like 10,000 views, and it was like crazy. Everybody wanted Pokemon content. It was like she actually lost a couple times, even though like she was literally commenting immediately when it went went in, but yeah.
There's some people who just make it to the first of the line every time.
Yeah.
Number one mod in the game. He's always good at it with the PK. That's for sure. He's always at the top. I appreciate the super chat, Lauren. Sorry for such a poor answer. But good stuff. All right, so that takes you there. But then, how did you get connected with Logan Paul? Like, what was that journey to say, okay, hey, I got this box here. It sells you for like 10 times what I paid for it.
I don't even know if I had actually even. I'd probably heard of him, but I don't know if I had. But I was, he had put something about buying a box on Instagram, and I had like tagged him, and I said, do you want another, something like that? And we're just kind of joking at that point. And then he, messaged and wanted to, talk about it. And honestly, for someone who has a lot of money, he was a very tough negotiator. Like it wasn't like, here's the price, here it is. Like
really?
it took like a few weeks of like back and forth of like really kind of what the price needed to be.
I would
and
have
then,
guessed
yeah. So he finally, said, yeah. And I was like, well, because I had to, because, the box I knew I'd never have again. It was just something where I was like, well, here's the price. And I know you literally are a, 10 millionaire or whatever, So I was like, here's the price, take it or leave it. And he finally came up to it and I was like, all right. So that was really it. It was through Instagram. And then I went there and sold it. So I don't think I've ever get a wire that large ever again. So yeah, that was
problems.
That was quite. And then I had to sign an NDA, and as well as everybody else had to. So I couldn't tell anybody until it was revealed. Like I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 months later, or something like that, on his YouTube. So that was also something that was like, some people asking, like, yeah, see the box, whatever. It's like, you just kind of ignore.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
But that definitely sets you up, as you said, to kind of make that life-changing, event and take that next leap. That combined with your business starting to take off in terms of the consignment business, and from there, it really leap-started you into what you have now. So it was a great opportunity. Good timing.
Yeah.
So you started the eBay in 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made you partner with Graded Gem?
Well, they reached out to me in like, I don't know, like May of 2020. They wanted to open a, USA branch. And, I had known about them, through YouTube and whatever they were, however it was through YouTube. I think it was actually through Connor, because he had originally had a YouTube channel where he was kind of doing the same thing with like Gem Mint. Like he was grading cards and he was just trying to build this, big collection of vintage cards. So, I had followed him through that. So yeah. And they, they reached out and it was like, there are people that have the demand for that. And we really only thought that it would be 1,000 cards a month. That was their initial projection. So to have 10 times that in the first month, it just kind of took on a life of its own. And I'd really, honestly, the biggest thing I'd learned from that whole experience was how to, and they would tell you this, it's like how to scale incorrectly. And that's kind of why we've always like, we only do graded card. We don't do sealed. We don't do raw. We don't do, anything else. It's just, the graded TCG. For the longest time, we didn't do fixed price. It's just auctions. Like we every step is very like calculated on how to like not turn on the hose too fast, because that was it just expanded way too quickly. Customer service was just became non-existent because you were just trying to get cards out the door. stuff, so it was just, it was just way too much at that time. It should have been just like, hey, we can accept, but it's like you can only accept X amount per week or X amount per month, or once it hits there, it's closed until the next one. But it was just everybody send in as much as possible,
Water hose.
But yeah, so it taught me. It definitely honestly taught me a lot about business, because they were, Tom and Connor, they were running it in the UK, and they had like I don't know, 15 employees, something like that, 12. I mean, they were scaling massively there and just dealing with a whole lot as well. And I saw that as well, and it was just it was an experience that definitely taught me a lot about business, as well as flipping cards taught me a lot about business. It's a lot of like non-business school stuff, really just getting into it teaches you a lot
real world
more
experience.
Yeah. So.
But it was just you and Lauren at the time, right? You didn't even have Cam to start that off.
No,
at that point.
No, he didn't do any of it. It was just us. It was just that 6-month period. Yeah, Cam didn't come join until January of 2022.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was 2020 August through like I don't know, March. I think PSA shut down of 2021, and then I took like 6 months off, and then started Consignment at the end of 2021, and then the beginning of 2022 was when Cam came in, and he really ran a lot of the Consignment for most of that year, because a lot of it was just me getting packages back from PSA to send back to people. That 6-month period was all just us submitting, and then PSA was delayed for like 2 years, so we just started getting all that back. 2021, 2022. So that was me just opening all the boxes, sorting them all, emailing everybody. I kind of became a debt collector because some people didn't pay and had to get that. And then, 2 years, you have to make sure people's addresses, because people have moved,
right.
Too
much time's passed.
Yeah. So that was a lot of just what I was doing. And Cam was really, scanning the cards, listing the cards, doing a lot of it for like 2022. So yeah, I mean, there was, and then finally Graded Gem was done. I still have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 submitters sitting on the shelf in the office that just have never responded.
Never confirmed.
Yeah. I told them, like, we had auctioned off, I don't know, a few hundred cards that people who just never paid and just never responded in like 3 years. So that was a decision they made to like pay the grading fees at least. So if they ever show up and they made money on that, like Graded Gem would pay them, but they never responded. And I still have, like I said, like 6 or 7 people that paid. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to auction these off because they literally paid for them. So I said, I'll hold on to them for 10 years. I don't care. So they're just sitting up there.
They're appreciating. They're just waiting. They're waiting.
But we got a final wave of like it was like November of 2022 or October of 2022 was the final wave, and PSA shipped back like, I want to say it was 60 submissions at once. They just released them all, and it was there's 500 cards. It was 30,000 cards at once that I got back.
Wow.
And those are, that was also pretty insane to get those by. My post office is very small. It's just like two old people that run it. So they got 30, 50-pound boxes. And they're like, what is,
what are you doing?
Yeah. So yeah, that was the Graded Gem experience. Taught me a lot, but I'm glad it's done. I'm glad middleman.
What would you say is your number one lesson from that?
Well, probably, like I said, scaling would be number one. Scaling properly, but that was, yeah. And then number two, just there's having too much work is sometimes the same amount of stress as having too little work, and that's
right.
That's just something you have to realize and that's something you're just going to have to deal with as a business owner, honestly. Like, my dad was an artist, and he would either have a lot of work and it was just so busy and stressful, or he'd have like no work and then it was like also busy and also stressful, trying to find stuff. And we're trying to always scale, so it's like has a good amount of work each week, but you're just going to have weeks that you have a ton of work and a little, and you just have to kind of do that whole dance.
You're at the mercy of the market. There's sometimes not much you can do there. I did see that we got another 10 gifted. Zach, you really didn't have to do that, man. I really do appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. I see that Ryan dropped a link for his YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to Zach at R&D, make sure you guys go check it out. Father, son, kind of duo, good stuff. Very wholesome. I love it a lot. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, we're doing a bedtime stream. I saw somebody says, I didn't realize that we were doing a bedtime stream here. Yeah, that's right, Quilly.
Well, it's either that or the car, and the car doesn't have Wi-Fi, so we're doing the bed. We're doing the bed.
We got the better quality audio and video for the lesser scenery, so that's okay. So we'll take that. We'll take that any day of the week. All right. So when you left Graded Gem servers, so that shut down in a sense from your perspective, that had to be a huge relief for you. I mean, at that point, stepping back from that, I mean, just a huge weight had to be lifted off of your shoulders. But then was there also a point of, oh, now we need to ramp up our business. Now that's not where it needs to be sustainable. What was that transition like, stepping out of that massive amount of work into now just focusing back on you?
It honestly was stressful and not a relief because,
really,
in 2021, it was already going down. Like November was like 40,000, December was like 30 or 40,000, but then January was like 15, and then February was like 10, then March was getting less. So I know PSA was shut down. It was mostly, I think, sports that kind of shut it down, because we were seeing less. But really, it was like I had quit my job, and Lauren had come back from maternity leave and decided not to come back either. So it was basically we both, became unemployed at that point, all of a sudden, like with a snap of a finger, because PSA just shut down completely. So we had nothing to submit. But, we had, doing that much work, we had, had savings and done well there. Right. So, Lauren and I actually ended up going back to work, and crushing it there. And then I just kind of, like I said, became a stay-at-home dad and kind of thought about what to do. And, I didn't know either, like how, they shut down submissions coming in, but I didn't know if we were all of a sudden going to start getting August 2020 submissions where I had to return. So it's like I could still have work coming back to me at any time. But it ended up being like they just really didn't ship back much for like a year or two, from that time. So it was really just kind of a time of reflecting. And I would do some YouTube comments, but at that time I'd already kind of lost some momentum because I shut down the YouTube because of Graded Gem. Like I just didn't have time to do that either. And it was doing.
Oh, that was the reason. Okay.
Yeah, it was doing very well at that time too, and I was making some decent money on like affiliate revenue and the actual ad revenue. So that was tough to just kind of shut that down completely. And then I didn't really upload much content for like months, and then just kind of lost the momentum there. So I just kind of started doing some YouTube stuff, and then the views were a lot less than it, way less than it had been. And that was
right.
Kind of not as motivating, it was like, so that's kind of gone too.
Stings,
as well. Yeah. So I kind of had to just go back to the drawing board. And luckily too, we were doing 6 months of that. We had savings from that. I had sold the Logan Paul box, I had still had collection, all the stuff that I'd collected. So it was like, we were fine, but it was like, I can't just, sit for 5 years, you kind of have to figure out at some point, you got to kind of figure it out. So yeah, that's when it was like September. So it was like end of March, PSA shut down. So it was like September. started, Consignment. So between that
Okay.
gap, they're just kind of figuring it out. Yeah.
Okay. Then we got one here from the crowd. Were you looking at anything else in that time? Were you going with CG other than PSA? Were you going with CGC? I think your wife says BGS
Um,
as far as grading.
yeah, I think Graded Gem just had a relationship with a dealer with
Okay.
PSA, so I would have had to have, and I probably could have, honestly, like gone out and reached out and become a dealer, which we did. We're technically a dealer right now for Z&G Emporium is a dealer with PSA and CGC. So I probably could have done that, but I think it had scarred me so much doing middlemaning because it was just so much work and it's just a lot. It's a lot people don't realize, just the logistics of it and just the risk of sending all these graded cards. When you send graded cards, like, and if it gets lost, like, it's going to be real tough insurance wise to, like, because everybody's cards are 10s, until they get it back. And there's a lot of
Right.
just risk with that. And then they ship it back and then you got to ship it. And there's, a risk of that. And then a lot of back and forth of, hey, where are my cards? Are they graded yet? And, a lot of customer stuff there. So just, I was over doing middleman. I was just over it. So it really wasn't something that I thought about doing.
Did you have any of the stories? I know Dan shared a few a while back about some of his items getting lost and certain people picking it up, and he kind of tracked some things down and got the police involved. Have you had to have any of those unfortunate circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we've shipped so much stuff that
You've had to have.
we've seen everything. Yeah, I mean, I've had people buy an item and then they return it and it's empty. That's happened several times. I've had stuff sent to us and then you open it and it's empty. I successfully got a claim. Someone sent consignment, and luckily got it came back to me and it was a large flat rate box. It was very light. And it was like, why would someone send, some people don't know how to ship and they're always just shipping a large
Right,
flat
big
rate
one.
box, but I
$50
opened it,
shipping.
I opened it was empty and it was, you could tell the bottom was cut and retaped because of the way it is. But luckily, worked to the post office and found out through, I don't know, an hour or two of calling that, when they scan it at certain destinations, they'll weigh it too. So I think we had calculated it weighed like 12 pounds. That happened like 2 times or 3 times. One shipped to a Graded Gem customer, that a consignment sent to us, and it scanned at that point, and then the delivery scan, or like the final one before they delivered, was like almost 0.
Wow.
So they knew something happened, and insurance was able to. That was enough proof to be able to do that. But yeah, I've seen kind of all the ways people try to do that stuff. But
That's the unfun part about it. I mean, and that kind of takes us really smoothly into your last little, I would say, unfortunate circumstance that came up with the show bidding and the time you had to spend. You posted a couple of videos around it recently, and situations like that, they can suck up a lot of your time.
yeah,
Can you give us an idea? What is it like with the volumes that you run? I mean, how much time are you having to spend with these types of situations versus the things that go smoothly?
well, some of it, honestly, if so, a lot of it is, you can catch some stuff, but some stuff people can probably hide very well. This was just something that I was able to kind of connect the dots, and it's just going to happen everywhere, and you could only just try to prevent what you can. A lot of it's just checking kind of like the higher end stuff, clicking in and seeing kind of if the bidding might look suspicious, or you might recognize, the username, and it's like, wait a minute,
Certain people, yeah.
is that the consigner, or is that somebody that is somehow related to that? Or if sometimes, a card that goes for $1,000 is $2,000, and it's like, well, why is that? Like, I know sometimes our auctions
Little
go
red
above
flags, right?
market, but there's no way, some guy
Never.
that, he was angry that eBay was charging so much in like VAT, the international tax to them. And I was like, I can't do anything, man, so I just canceled all these items that I had to cancel. And then he went and like bid up like 30 of our top items. Like all of them were his, like, and all the items went for a lot. So I had to go and delete like all of his things
man.
and ban them and get, so, you might get angry customers who go in there. You might get people trying to put their own, all you can do is try, but, I'm sure it still probably goes on to a degree in every platform, every, thing you can think of, but, you try your best and it is what it is at that point. I mean, like I've said with, I've talked to a few people who have asked me about like, kind of hiring employees, because I think we're unique in that, there are a decent amount of people who have like started their own Pokemon companies, but a lot of people like don't get their own employees too. Like they don't make that extra step because it's just, that's such a different level, of responsibility and scaling needs and needing to be able to, there's just so much more that with that. And, a lot of them, they would do it, but they just have trust issues. Like they just don't see, they just can't get over that hurdle of like, they're going to steal a card or whatever. And I've told them before, it's like, because like 99% of people are trustworthy. They really are. I mean, you just can't focus on it. Most people are good. Most of the bids are good. 99 whatever percent of them are good. 99% of people are trustworthy. It's just the human psychology of you're always going to think about the worst part. Like we have 99.7% feedback, and I get all the time, these people say, "Oh wow, I see your feedback. I see it's negative." It's like, you mean you see that 997 out of 1,000 people love us? Like, is that what you're talking about? No, they're talking about the 3 out of 1,000 that have some issue. So that's just kind of the human psychology that you that I deal with.
As Dan says, lots of fishermen here, right? Less bankers. Less bankers.
Yeah.
Lauren asks, "What's your favorite part about running the business?"
Favorite part. I think my favorite part is just kind of, we're at a position now to like grow this as big as we can, and that's just, we're put in a position now just over years of doing this and building this that we have that opportunity. There's not a lot of people that have this opportunity, to grow something as big as I think we can. And Dan was in the just in the chat. He always says about he's a fisherman and I'm a banker, and he's just over there with his little boat out there. But what Dan doesn't realize that he that parable that he likes to say is the whole point is that the fisherman, like the banker, like works all this time to like get to the point of having time off and spending time with family, and the fisherman already does that. Right. So what's the point of doing all that? But what we've set up here is that I work less than Dan. I guarantee it. I work much less than him. I spend a lot of time with family, and like I said, with the 2020, the graded gym and the Logan Paul box, and the getting all the flips and stuff that I've done. It's like, it's not at this point. It's not a money thing. It's not a time thing, because I work a lot. You can message Cam on Instagram, and ask him how many times he sees me in the office. I mean, it's probably 2 days a week, out of the 5. Yes, it's just run. I don't scan the cards. I don't list the cards. I don't title the cards. I don't ship the cards at this point, unless it's extremely busy. I'm basically just the money man that I just pay out, consigners at the end of the day. And that only takes a day. And the rest of the time I'm kind of going in and talking and, talking about strategy and, go to the post office and going back and forth there. But really at this point, my time is, I have a lot of time that I just spend it with family, and that's great. And it's not really a money thing. So really, it's just about building something, just as big as you can. Just the human nature. It's like I don't. I guess you can be the best, AAA ball player. You can if you want, but if you have an opportunity to be in the major leagues and be the best there, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Right.
So I'm just trying to, go as far as this goes, and that's my whole outlook.
Dan's got to know how many hours you work in a week right now on average.
Probably, if we do like 1,000 to like, I don't know, 1,200, 1,500 cards, I mean, I'm probably only, spending one day, compiling all the data from the prior week of the sales. And I run, all these reports out of eBay that'll, match the consignor's, card, item ID with, the price that it's sold for, run all the reports to the spreadsheets, and then I have to pay out everybody. And everybody wants, some people want wire, some people want Wise, some people want ACH, check. So it just takes about a whole day to actually do that whole process. So that's one day. And then, there's probably 8 hours that I'll, go in and talk to the team, or, actually get the boxes and open them. And I like to be the one that opens the boxes and actually does the initial counting of the cards and seeing what's kind of coming up for the week, because then I will use that to like what I want to post on Instagram and what kind of cards to highlight, and that kind of social media aspect. But it's only 2 work days, out of 5. Now we've had weeks, where, like, especially at the end of last year, it was like 2,800 cards in a week, multiple 2,000 cards. That might be something where I have to come in and help ship, as well as if, Brian or Cam are like out sick, or they're out for vacation, like I'll come in and I'm kind of like the filler. I'm kind of like the person who comes in and fills in. But it's just a regular week where they're in the whole week. Like, yeah, it's not much. So, which is great,
Ray says, "Is there an office Christmas party?"
There was. We went out to a really nice dinner. All of us for the Christmas party last year. So
it's important.
I wish. It's just it's tough. We have one employee who is in on the East Coast who does the titling and helps the actually list the stuff. So, and he has a family and a kid. So it's tough to fly him all the way out, and family. But hopefully, one time we can do that and kind of all be there. But
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
One of the things you kind of mentioned a little bit, but I'd like to go a little bit deeper with you, James. When you grow the business to this size, the amount of things you have to learn how to scale to adjust business process. You got a little one coming in?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
Can we stay with you?
Well, I think you need to go. Over there.
Sleep on here.
I don't think you can sleep on here.
Sleep.
I don't think you sleep. I think you need to sleep in your own bed. Where's mommy? Yeah.
Mom?
Huh?
Mhm.
Where'd mommy go?
My son was asking me the same thing. My son's like, "Can I sleep in your bed tonight?" Like, no. Elliot slept in my bed last night, so I need to rest tonight.
Go read a book. Yeah, I gotta go read a book.
Mom.
Bye.
Come on, honey. Daddy's working.
All right. Well, I'll be here for until mommy gets out. So.
Are you sure
All right.
you're okay with it?
Yeah.
I'll get Daddy back to you soon.
Yeah,
Thanks for
yeah.
sharing.
She'll be here
Appreciate
until mommy's putting down the
Okay.
the 6-month-old. So
Okay.
we gotta, when she comes
No
back,
worries.
we'll take her. But yeah,
No worries.
you'll
Lizzie, do you want me to pick up all the box?
that's fine. She can stay here until.
Yeah,
Dad.
no worries.
Lizzie,
No, that's works.
Lizzie, want me to pick up the
Daddy.
box? Never.
No, it's fine. All right, go ahead.
No.
No worries. No worries. But as you go through this, what were like some of the optimizations, James, you had to go through as a business and growing the business process and the scale and the demand that came upon the organization? What kind of optimizations do you say you really implemented over the past couple of years that helped you reach this level of success?
Well, I think I mean there have been a whole lot of things that we changed because we've just kind of been learning this on the fly. There's really no, we had looked at like is there yes. We had looked at every yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. No worries.
Okay. We had looked at kind of how to. Sorry, yeah. You want to put you over there with Grandma?
See a little pat of the hand. This little.
No, she'll be no. Lauren will take her soon. But I mean, we just
okay.
We looked at like. It's like, oh, is there something like how PWCC works or how like Probstein works or how any of these kind of consignment places kind of run it, and there's really not out there. I mean, we knew that Rusty, I think you had on, right, TCA.
Yeah.
He did some consignments.
Cheetos on the bed.
You got Cheetos on the bed?
Behind the bed.
Why don't you go to the pantry and find some? Go with Grandma and find some Cheetos.
Find some Cheetos in the cabinet. Don't eat the ones off behind the bed. Yeah, don't eat those.
But yeah, that's not really much. So we just kind of there was we originally had like the consigners out on like stacks on the shelf, and then we figured out that it was like really hard when we wanted to ship because it was like we just had to like flip through each consigner and kind of find that. So we made it like into boxes, and then that wasn't really good enough. So then we separated them out, and then made we have like SKUs now that will kind of find exactly where the items are. Shipping change to where, kind of how to each item, like how exactly to wrap each one and put that into it. We used to scan a single card, back and forth. Now it was like, we found the template that can do 4 cards at a time. We reach out to be able to also, it'll cut the cards and then match front back.
Okay.
So it's not like 4 front scans, 4 back, 4 front, 4 scans. So that was good. So they're all in order. We also, and this is a big thing that Cam found out, was like, we were at one point saying like, there's no way that, a lot of our process increases were like trying to figure out, exactly. It's fine. Trying to figure out like, there's no way somebody at scale does it like this. Like that's kind of our like metric.
Right.
It's like there's no way they ship like this, like one at a time. Or there's no way they will title. Like a bigger thing was, trying to figure out. There's no way that now she's eating Girl Scout cookies. She's really taking advantage of Mom right now. But I'm just gonna let it go until she comes in.
Let it ride.
Yeah, the biggest improvement I think that happened was we'd always question like, there's no way that they manually list every single item. There's no way. There's no way that, because we had timed it out and it was like, to list 1,000 cards took us like, I don't know, a day or two. And it was like, there's no way like, Probstein, who does 20, 30,000, has 30 people listing. There's just no way.
One at a time.
Yeah, there's no way. So we had found that, we had actually stumbled across like 6 months earlier, like we were looking at DC Sports, who was also like one of the biggest consigners. They barely do any TCG, but they do a lot of sports. And at the very bottom of it was, they said, created by Wonderlister. And we were like, what is that? So, we found out that there's a lot of like third parties that will like kind of, you just throw in the titles and the pictures, and they'll just list them all for you all at once. And that was a huge.
I don't want
You don't want those? Well, why did? Okay, all right. So that was a big, huge time save because
saver,
all we do for that, and we realized because we were testing it out and like in a testing phase, and like you have to create a CSV file and do a whole lot of like, it's not intuitive. You don't put like a PSA 9. It's like a code is PSA and a code is 9. So you have to like create like the code structure to like whatever it is. So, okay. Mom's here.
Hide the cookies.
Want to say hi?
No,
Okay, she says no.
Hi, Lauren.
I've been saying hi.
She's been saying hi in the chat. So that was a big thing. When we were doing the testing phase, we were finally after coding it all and doing all that, and really all of it. When I say we, it was mostly Cam, but we like submitted to them, and it like wasn't going through. And we were like, I'm not sure why it's not going through. And we kind of emailed support, and they said that, sorry, it's nothing to do with you. We just have a backlog. DC Sports is currently uploading 9,000 listings at once. And they're like, oh, okay. So that's how they do it. They just throw them all up. So that saved us a huge amount of time. I mean, that had to have saved us, tens of hours a week. So that's good with listings. We still can't really figure out a way to not manually make titles. So, we still have someone manually make, all the titles. We kind of have a format, but you still have to go in and actually hand write those titles. But we've really made improve the shipping process, listing process, scanning process. Titling is still, it is what it is. But yeah, there's been a lot of improvements over the years.
And with those, obviously you named one of them there. With what was the name of it? Wizard list cards? What was it called?
Wonder Lister.
Wonder Lister.
Yeah.
Is there any other softwares that you've put in place behind these improvements, or even something that you didn't mention that's kind of key that kind of helps run the business smoothly?
No, a lot of it's just like spreadsheets, and we'll have like right now we use like a Microsoft Teams that'll kind of go in between everybody and upload. That's way we'll like upload files to like help with, show the scans and update on everybody. But a lot of it's just spreadsheets and, Wonder Lister and all that. So,
spreadsheets run the world.
Yeah, I know. But we're always looking to like ways to improve and make it, faster. Because that's really the name of the game to try to be more efficient and more accurate with that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just curiously, we'll move on to the next point. But what's the software or the solution that's taking the scan images of 4 cards at once, front and back, and matching them? Is that part of the device itself, or?
No, that was something, and I'm not sure if he is actually like selling it publicly or if he wants it to be known. But it was somebody in the community. Yeah. It's somebody in like a Discord, and he's relatively known. But he made the software for that, and he uses it for his own business. And he just reached out. He watched YouTube videos, and I think I had like talked about on like a podcast like how to be more efficient in everything, and that was one of them that we were like, once again, it was like there's no way that they scan 1 card at a time. There's just no chance that that's something that happens. And then figured out 4 cards. Yeah, and then it was like, well, now I have to do a listing. I have to like click that and then go over and do the next one, in the file. It's like there must be a way to do that. So that was really good.
Okay. Good stuff. And when it comes to, I think we had one actually from, if you find a way to expedite payouts, let me know.
Yeah. That's something that, we used to do it like, we used to pay out on like Wednesdays, and it used to pay out Fridays. And I've actually extended it to where it's Monday. So it's like 8 days after auction, which is like, I want to pay faster, but at the same time, there's so many people that will like pay at the end of the week. You know, they'll pay like 5 days later. So to like get as many possible people paying the items as possible, you know, it's like I'll get it till Friday and then I'll run the reports like over the weekend and early Monday and then do it. So, I mean, I know these actual like big consigners will like sometimes pay out very quickly, and but some of them, like I think I want to say like Protein is actually technically a cash advance. Like they'll pay out like whatever it is, and then if it's returned or if it's not paid, like they ask for it back or something. I think that's how that works. So that's also something I don't want to deal with. It's like I want to be like they're paid. That's it.
We're done.
Like there's
we're
no
done.
it's done. It's done. So
fully agree with you on that one. So what are you looking at next? I mean, you're obviously moving through the next evolution. You just announced, you know, as you wiped out. By the way, I'm very sad that you wiped out all of your YouTube videos. But you announced kind of your change in the business structure and how you're looking at moving forward. I know you, but you're also probably setting your eyes on something beyond that. What are you thinking for the business? What's the future look like for you beyond what you've announced?
I mean, what we're just trying to do now is just get it. I mean, you know, I think it's, you know, you could stop this at any point. Like when we did like 2 years ago, we did like almost 2 million in revenue. That's fine. Like I'm happy with that. And we did last year like 5 million. Like at this point, it's just kind of, let's see how far, you know, it goes, you know, I mean, let's just see how far down the rabbit hole we can go, you know? And so I don't really have like a goal or like an end date or an end number in my mind right now. Mostly it was, a lot of it is from, you know, probably that base set box. Like I did a goal and I reached it, and then it was all of a sudden like, like now what? It was like, so and I just kind of stopped the momentum of kind of everything, you know, at that point. So it was the same thing with, you know, I got really into collecting video games, like sealed video games in like 2021. And that was a year-long process. I was like, I want to get like a really nice copy, maybe even the highest graded copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee. And it took, surprisingly, it only took like 10 months, but I graded in like October and I started in like the beginning of 2021. And I got it. And now I have the highest graded Super Smash Bros. Melee on Earth, only one, Pop 1. And then I kind of stopped video games after that. It was like, okay, well, that's kind of it. So, you know, I'm having fun what we're doing right now. So there's, to me, I don't really want to set anything and just kind of keep it going, you know?
You want to have that peak that you hit and fall off the other side of the mountain. I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
You know, and you mentioned it earlier, you know, trust is a big thing here, but most people are trustful in terms of bringing people in, hiring employees. It's one of the cornerstones of really a successful business. How do you work to instill trust within your employees, from you to them, and of course to the business to them? What are some of the things that you look at to try to make sure you disseminate that to the people you care about?
I think that is just, you know, I think just, like I've said before, like I've said this before, and it's just kind of crazy. And I've talked to Cam about this and Brian in the office, and you know, it's not hard to run a legitimate business. It's really not. It's, you know, you see these like, you know, rattle videos or, you know, possum bud videos and scammers, and it's like a lot of them too, like you know, like Logan Paul, like you end up like scamming those cryptos. It's like, why are people who are like successful or building something like turn to that? It's like, it's not hard. It's not that difficult. So I think just, you know, doing the right things and trying, you know, you're going to make mistakes and just, you know, correct them and move forward and handle it as, you know, as a normal human being would, you know. And you know, that's just kind of it. I mean, it's not really a complicated,
easy, right?
Yeah, it's not really a complicated formula, but
Just be a normal human being. Got
yeah,
it.
exactly. Like I said, there's just like most people are trustworthy. Most people are decent people. It's not, it's not, it's not too difficult. But I think too, like those scammers or people who like take advantage of people are the ones that are amplified. Like, and that's why it seems like that.
It's
But
more right.
for the most part, they're just normal people just doing regular stuff, and it's all good.
All right. So it all came naturally. Doing good business results in good trust. That's basically what I get there.
Yeah, and just like I said, mistakes too. Like we make I make mistakes. Everybody in the office will make mistakes. Sometimes we'll whatever it is. We'll make a title that's wrong. Or there's just stuff that happens, and you just fix it and you move on. It's not like something you scold somebody for, or mistakes happen. You just kind of build that kind of team environment of it's okay to make mistakes or fail. It's just how you correct it and move forward. I think that's also a form of trust, feeling good about the ability of just do your best.
Right. Dan throws it out here. Trust but verify.
Dan the robot. Yeah.
But at some point, you can't verify. You can't verify. You just have to let it run. It gets bigger than you are. Looking probably back now at your YouTube and kind of content journey, you've been kind of off and on, as you already mentioned, a couple of times throughout the years. You were going hard. You got like 20,000 subs within like 2020 by 2020, so just over a couple of years. Because you started in 2019.
Never made 20,000. I'll say
No?
that. Like 19.9, and then went down to 19.5, and then up to 19.8, and 19. I've hovered around this for years, So never actually hit it.
Okay, all right, close to 20,000, and just really over a year, which was great. I mean, that's huge. And one of the things you said at some point in the podcast was, passion makes good content. And fully believe that, but you've also kind of lost your passion along the way. You hit goals, you lost it. You hit another goal, you lost it. What is kind of behind now the passion of the content journey you're on today? Because you kind of did a clean slate, wiped it all out, and you started fresh. Pretty consistent so far. I know you mentioned the passion is growing the business, and now it's not the cards, it's not necessarily even Pokemon. It's the business, the growth, and trying to make that the most it can be for the people that, of course, are employed by you and, of course, your family. But there's got to be something there driving the content as well, because that's more for pleasure. That's not going to be your main source of revenue by any means.
No, at this point, like it was like I had all the card stuff, and it was like creative gem stuff and all this like random stuff that I had up, and then we started, with Cam started a podcast. So I was like, we're starting fresh. Like if people go back, like, I know how the YouTube, kind of algo works. And it was like, if they come here for that, and that's just kind of the content, and then they kind of stay for that. So it's like, I'll just make those private. I mean, I didn't delete them. I could just make them all, public again. But really, people like say that, it'd be like, where is it? But if I looked at the analytics, whenever I thought about it, like nobody watches old videos. There's not a single view on any of those. The only views were like the most recent, like, I don't know, 5. Like nobody watched those. So, nobody watched them anyway. But then we started that, and then Cam and I became way too busy, like to just even do that. We were just swamped, and we hired Brian, then we hired Zach, we have Robin part-time. So it was like, it just became too busy to even do that, and that kind of fell off. And there was another pause. Really, a lot of it's just because I've just been way too busy, and that's just kind of the thing that focus on the business. That's why I stopped it, was because I created a gym, and I stopped it again because Cam and I became way too busy, podcast. And then now, I've kind of made those videos because it's quick. I don't have to think about it. It's in the car. And it's more just kind of like I said, like it's more kind of just whatever. I'm not looking to like you know do the grow to you know 50,000 subscribers or anything. I'm just kind of having a face to the business still, because honestly, I think the biggest thing I mean, you know, not everybody can have people like last year, 5 million in sales. Not everybody can have people send a random person $5 million worth of stuff, you know, and I recognize that. And I just don't know if I ever want to be that business where it's just kind of faceless, you know, where it's,
right.
You know, I mean, who is the face of, you know, PWCC or DC Sport? You know, like there's no real, you know, there's a face to it. Just kind of becomes so big that it's just kind of, you ship it and you get paid and that's it. So at this point, we're still at a time to where I'm having fun with it. And I think there still needs to be somebody there to reassure them when they send a $20,000 package that there is somebody there on the, you know, still on the other side. And maybe when if we get to like, you know, 20 employees or something, it's just we're, as Cam and I have said, we're part of the machine at that point. You know, there's just nothing you can really do. Maybe I'll just, you know, disappear and I'll just be
all day.
Faceless entity now. I don't know. But at this point, I'm just throwing stuff out there and enjoying it. So I think the biggest thing that stops me from making videos usually is like, okay, now to go wherever the setup is, I got to set up the camera and connect it and make sure OBS is working, and, you know, just think of the idea and sit down and, you know, record it and then put some editing. Like this is just like literally it. You know, if it's a 10-minute video, if it's a 10-minute video, it took me 12 minutes because it took me a minute to drive there and back, and then I upload it, and that's it, no editing. So that's also makes it a lot more fun for me.
Crazy, right?
Yeah,
right. I got you. Well, maybe one day we can all be like Mason at Cardinal Gaming and just have, you know, business full of employees and make content all day. Perfect.
Yeah. He kind of stopped making a lot of content too. I think. Yeah.
I'm giving him a hard time, but yeah. Somebody I think it was Terry. Terry was giving Mason a hard time. It was like, you get off YouTube and go work on the business. It's like, wow. All right, Terry. All right. I hear you, man.
And he did.
He did.
Yeah.
He listened.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans to get into other areas? I know there was, and forgive me if I'm mixing perhaps time frames up, but you were talking at some point about, you know, some magic algorithm you guys were testing out on TikTok. Or are you looking to jump to other places and try to help grow the business in that way, or really just sticking with YouTube and Instagram?
No, we tried TikTok in I think it was October, November of 2022, because we, you know, had seen it was like, you know, people were getting all these views, and it's like, well, if they get a lot of views, they should get somebody clicks on your website and gets, you know, some business from it. I don't know. So, you know, there's a very, I find that TikTok is the most algorithmic, you know, like if you can figure it out, like it's just from there, you just get a ton of views. So, you know, we figured out like, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos, and they didn't really hit. And then one hit, and then we just literally did that same idea like 20 times in a row. I mean, with different, you know, elements to it. But then it got, you know, every video got an average like, I don't know, 80 to 100,000 views, every single one. One got like 1.8 million. Even the lowest one got like 50,000. It was just, and then, but that was like 2 months of doing that and got millions of views, and not one person, like ever, I asked every single consignor, it's like, did you ever nobody had seen on TikTok. There's not one person that came over, but they're like 3 million views. So it was just stopped. I just stopped completely. Put out a few videos here and there after, just because I just threw up something. But I had already lost the, you know, what it liked at that point, and it only got like a few hundred views, everyone. So I just stopped there. So I have started though more on Instagram, and Instagram, I put like posts and reels and stories, and we have gotten actually quite a lot of business from there. A lot of people DMing and saying they want to send stuff. So Instagram is definitely way more potential there. But TikTok, we got 0 from there, even though it got millions of views. So I think if I do TikTok, it's more of just hey, I'm just
something funny,
just doing something, if I just want to. But it's really not a business thing at this point on that avenue. So yeah, really have TikTok or Instagram, done a lot more stuff there and promoted people's stuff, auctions that have happened, and that's really helped grow the business. And I think there's definitely a lot of potential there on people who want to do business. YouTube is a great place to like kind of grow your brand, but also Instagram, I think, is definitely a viable platform for that. And I think there's a lot of business that is done through there. Never done an actual selling in person like show, but I've been to 2 Collecticons, and it seems to be people can do pretty well. So that's not something that I have any plans of ever doing. But I think if I'm just talking of advice about people like growing, and a viable thing to throw your time into, I have seen that seems to be pretty successful if you can get it down as well.
We'll see a Z&G Emporium tent right in the middle of a Collecticon.
Yeah,
strobe lights.
I've got nothing to sell, and also if if it's one of those things where it's like we just accept consignments there, once again it's kind of a risk proposition. If I lose their stuff or someone steals a backpack, or you have to have like armed guards. I don't know how like Heritage bring those really high end stuff, and Golden, like they'll show off like illustrators they have right there. It's like, how you got like
walk out to your Honda Civic after this, or
yeah, they must have some kind of like high security over that. They must, because it's just I mean, even some of these not these big auction, like some of these big vendors there, they'll have like that I can't remember. Is it Pokemon Network? Is that who it is? The ones who have like 5 Skyridge boxes and 10 first edition
Rose,
Team Rocket, but it's like they have like millions of dollars worth of stuff just there. It's crazy.
Wouldn't want to carry that on a plane, just kind of throwing it around the overhead luggage. No, thanks.
Yeah. But once again, most people are good, so it really is probably not an issue. But yeah, it's still a lot
of risk, to your point. A lot of risk. We talked about your numbers a little bit before, James, and they definitely have grown. I mean, more than doubled. Volume seems to be, fluctuating throughout the year, but also seems to be steady, but also perhaps somewhat growing as well. How do you see the general Pokemon market as a whole from your business perspective? How has the volumes been? How has the prices been? What's your view?
I mean, it still seems to be pretty strong. I mean, like I had said I think I said in a video a few videos ago, but it's like, some people, it's just about your perspective on some of these prices. Like I can tell you, like volume wise, like it's incredibly on a volume that's transacted on eBay or outside of eBay. Like these vendor shows, it's always packed. There's a ton of volume going on, and are they the prices that they were in 2020 for like a lot of these vintage items? No, but like when you go up 10x and then go down 50%, like you're still way up from where it was. And the amount of the demand, the transaction volume, the amount that really kind of shocks me is the amount of TCG cards that are being graded every month.
Those numbers.
It's like, I think PSA grades like 500,000 or 600,000 TCG cards a month. Like, I mean, it's just, a lot of those just have to be losing money. It has to be like going to a PC or, because there are not 600,000 cards that you can pay $15 a card for. that will make money. Like it's just impossible, so the health of grading, even though you're losing money on, it has to be a decent chunk of those. It shows you that I'm guessing a lot of this is PC stuff. A lot of this is just stuff people buying 1, 2 here, there. I don't know. I've always wondered, like, where sometimes it's just like, where is all this money coming from? It's just so much of it just out there, just being transacted and this. And then I sometimes take a step back. It's like, how much money is being thrown around in crypto, and how much money is being, these other markets. And it's just like the vast amount of money that is being transacted is crazy. So right now, I think it seems pretty strong. I mean, there are modern cards that are going up. There are vintage cards that are either going up or stable. You can list them at a market price, and they're going to sell. What really interests me is how much the modern cards are just. I mean, like some of them, like you're talking about Moonbryon or like Poncho Pikachu's, or these like cards that are thousands or thousands of dollars, that if you list them at the low price on eBay, like they sell within like hours. I mean, like I listed 2 Poncho Pikachu's that were like low list, and they sold within an hour, like $5,300 each. I mean, they're just any Moonbryon that I list, for like market price, like they're gone within like minutes. And these are not, slapping down $1,000 or $5,000 on an item. I mean, that's not, you're not slapping down $50, So yeah, there's a lot of people buying a lot of this stuff for a lot of money. And, yeah, it seems pretty strong still, at this point.
No concerns from your business perspective. Something slowing down, running out of the current path, needed to perhaps add other services, and things look pretty good where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, we added fixed price a couple months ago, but that was, basically we had to think about it for a long time, and it took us years to kind of get auctions, right. How we felt good about it, like efficiency and accuracy and just everything that goes along with it. And even that we've restricted to like over $1,000 that card has to be to take it. So if we lowered it to whatever amount, I'm sure it'll just just be a ton more that would come in. But yeah, it's there's just a lot of it out there. I mean, it's crazy.
Good to see you, Basic. Yeah, I think exactly. Same thing here. We don't know where the money's coming from, but they get another message and say, "Hey, I can pay for the item." And next, give me till Friday. Give me a couple of days until my paycheck comes in.
Yeah, so, we get that too. Like we get there's some. I have that kind of like I don't really know what the answer is. I don't know if that's like a moral dilemma that I should be. Maybe I'll ask people out there. But if someone wins an auction and they have to wait till Friday to pay for like an $8 item, which I've had, is that something we should just like say, okay, buddy, I'm just going to cancel it on you. Like you don't want to have not $8 in your bank account and wait. Or is that something where it's like, is there money? They're an adult, and that is strange. It really is.
We actually had this debate when Basic was on the channel. We had a podcast. We did a little debate series, and we debated that exact question.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We came up a little bit on both sides of the fence, and Basic himself has even been on both sides. He's canceled an order, but then as times went by, he said, let them do what they want to do. They're adults. So
yeah.
It's an auto cancel for me.
Yeah.
Auto cancel. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, that's tough for me too. It's like I can't really. They're consigners items, so it's not even my item. So, canceling. Yeah, I don't know.
Dan says it's because they have 10,007 and have a firm rule not to dip over.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's
I'm
what I'll
sure
tell
that's the
myself.
one. Yeah,
That's what I'll tell myself. Thank you, Dan.
perfect. Yeah,
Robot Dan.
exactly.
Thank you.
All right, man. We're gonna fire off some rapid fire questions. They don't have to be too rapid fire. Some of these may require a little bit of an explanation, but we'll run through them and just answer them the best you can. A little bit around Pokemon, but also in and out as well.
All right.
Favorite channel to date on YouTube?
Favorite channel to date? Like, are we talking Pokemon? Or are we talking any channel?
Any channel.
Boy. Probably Summoning Salt right now. That's probably my favorite. It's a guy who like just does deep dives, like 2-hour-long deep dives on speed running. Never have sped run a video game, never will. But it's like I said before, someone who's like passionate about something and really does that is it's just interesting to me.
I'll check it out. Hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah.
The card you've never seen come through your business but wish it would.
I would say a PSA 10 first edition base Charizard, but I've seen 9s and 8s and 7s and it's basically the same card, just with a different grade. At this point, if you take out a PSA 10 and regrade it, it might be a 9 anyway. So,
Exactly.
Let me think. Some things it's like you think about like, oh, like an Illustrator or something, but it's like if someone said, I want an auction in Illustrator through you, I'd literally say, don't do that. That's just, it's probably something for like a high-end auction house who won't have, like heritage or something. But, boy, we've seen a lot of cards. That's why it's hard for me to, it's hard for me to think of a card that we haven't, seen.
Pre-release Raichu.
Probably like one of those. What's that weird one? What's that? Not weird, but that one with the president of Pokemon.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? That was on the card.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, he's like has the that weird one.
I've seen that one. Yep.
Yeah,
The
that'd be
custom-made
interesting.
card that I had for him. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
At least see that one once.
Yeah.
What was
Fishing
one
RNG,
of your?
Yeah,
that's it. That's the one. What's been one of your biggest losses in the business?
Biggest losses in the business. Let's see. Probably, I had made a video about it. Probably I bought a pretty big collection, and a lot of the cards were actually inked.
Yeah. That was recent?
That was years ago.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
The two of them, probably that one, and I don't really know. I can't remember what the price I paid for that was, but yeah, a lot of them were inked, and I just can't sell inked cards, so I still have just inked cards just sitting there. I actually sent like 10 of them to Pokemon Knowledge, which is going to do some like thing on like how to spot inked stuff. But that, and then pretty famously is that base set heavy first edition pack that looked really suspicious, and opened it, and it had just unlimited.
Shadowless.
Yeah, had some shadowless and some unlimited, and had, which is how you know how they knew what they were doing is there was a little sliver. I still have the sliver, so they put the right amount of cards, but they put a little sliver. They cut the bottom of a card and put it in there so it weighed a little more. So I have like the bottom of that sliver like a card saver, like somewhere.
Just to remind you.
Yeah, just a reminder. But like showing, actually, it's funny that we were talking about earlier the TikTok. That was I had shown that pack and had a TikTok of like saying, I think this pack, I think I was scammed, and I'm not sure, and let me know what you guys think. And that's the video that got 1.8 million views. So yeah, a lot of people know about that pack. I don't know a lot of people know about the result, but a lot of people actually know about that pack. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't even a hollow in that one, was it?
No,
Yeah.
no, it was not good. So
Not good.
sorry about the doorbell there.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No problem. Favorite moment with the kids?
Boy, I would just this is doorbell central over there. But yeah, I would just say just hanging out with them, doing whatever, really, just having them just go. That's okay. Having my I mean, my 6-month-old really is still just kind of a potato at this point. So there's no real like personality yet. But my toddler, who's 3.5, there's like her discovering stuff, new things, and just the joy of like anything, is just it's pretty amazing, because there's not, you get as an adult, joyful moments, but like I was saying, that box, getting, it's like, oh, and then it's like, okay, time to move on, time to keep working, but just to see those moments is it's pretty special. Yeah.
What was the last card you put into your PC?
Boy, last card. Well, I'm trying to think what the last card actually was. I can't even remember. I know the last thing I did was that Super Smash Brothers, and I graded all these packs, these short crimp Japanese base packs, which are probably like some of the rarest packs out there. I graded all of them, and I got one PSA 9. The rest are like 6, 7s, and 8s. So I have that 9 that I'm keeping as well. That's just kind of a memento.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. That was that first edition Japanese base, right?
Yeah, it was a short crimp. They had 3 printings. That the long crimp, 290 yen or 291 yen, and then the 300 yen when they did the sales tax or like increased it or something is the 3rd printing. So it's like the first print. It's like the first ever printed of those actual cards. Yeah.
All right. That's one you'll keep for a while, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully.
Until you need more capital.
Yeah, true.
If the business was to end today, what would be your favorite moment?
Let's see. I think my favorite moment would probably be, even though it was really tough, just kind of Lauren and me, doing Great Gem at like 3 a.m. Her doing it, and just send text to each, because we had to like, there was so much of it that we had to like go into a different room, so we'd like text pictures of like what is this, because we get weird things and go over, and it was just kind of a bonding experience going through that war together. So I'd say that was probably pretty. Go back and look at it, a pretty good memory.
I like that one. Tough times usually create some good memories.
Yes.
3 things you need to change about your business right now.
Sorry, I just got a text about, do we have Cheetos? So I'm saying if we have Cheetos.
Tell us it's under the bed.
Yeah, I don't think she actually brought Cheetos in here, so that's my issue. No, I don't have any Cheetos. No. Okay. Sorry, what was the question? I was talking about Cheetos.
That's okay. Yeah. That's all right. Cheetos is way more important. 3 things you need to change about the business right now.
3 things change. Well, one of them that I'm trying to figure out is the website is just kind of a landing page. It really should have, have a lot more on there. I think it'd be nice to have, the actual, maybe, people who don't want to who just want to send it and forget it, you'll have that option. But the people who want to log in and see exactly their cards and see the payout stuff and,
Right.
all that just kind of like on the website, and just kind of make it look like someone who didn't make it themselves, who has never made a website, which is exactly what it is. I made it and never made a website. So just to kind of have it a little more fleshed out. I think the mobile version of it is kind of not great. So once again, just kind of figure that out. I've reached out to many designers, and just all of them are just too busy. It just seems like everybody's busy making websites. I just don't really. I need to become a web designer, I guess. But that's one thing. Second thing is being better. I've gotten better on Instagram, showing people stuff and kind of letting people know, because we have thousands, sometimes 2,000 plus cards. Stuff gets lost in there, unless you're like really looking for it. So really pulling out interesting cards, and the high-end cards will usually be found, anyway, but just promoting those. And I'd really like to get better at marketing the specific cards, maybe on YouTube, just making more videos about it, and more explanation, and just kind of be better at that.
Okay.
And we've gotten by with what we have now, but I think it just could definitely be better in that aspect. And then third is probably I don't know. Probably I could, sometimes we're just I just think the process of like titling and possibly shipping could be faster. We've improved shipping dramatically in different ways of finding stuff and shipping stuff. But I'm sure there's like more of an assembly line process that you can get down with actually shipping those things.
Right.
We have, it's tough with like running a business like this, because you're dealing with other people's stuff, and you want to make sure the right stuff is in the right package and the right person gets the right thing. So, you put controls in place, which controls always slow down the process. I mean, if we set controls of one person picks the items, and make sure that's who goes to who, and then another person ships the item and makes sure that that's the right thing. And it just kind of is. It's definitely not a clunky process, but it's more of a, you have to step by step. Someone controls it, and it can't be shipped until this. And there might be a way to like better make an assembly line process of all of things done one here, and everything's done here, and if you could still have a control in place, that will make it better. So
okay.
Yeah, that would probably be the third one.
Be the last one. Yeah, and grabbing one here from Ray. I think he still has the Melee, right? You still have the Melee.
Yep, I still, that's the only one I have. That's the, and I won't be, there's no point in selling. That's something that's, unless someone, once again, like the base set box,
Logan Paul, yeah. Exactly.
If someone gives me just an unbelievable offer, if maybe, but I mean, it would have to be just so out of ridiculous that,
There you go, Ray. There's your next big purchase. Throwing out for the James. What would be your next vacation spot for you and Lauren?
We were thinking about going, traveling back to the Midwest again to see it. We went back there last year. It's where I grew up, is where she grew up. Just seeing she has family out there. I don't. Was the last time I went there? No, I still in that. All my family was moved out here to Arizona, but there's like amusement parks there and stuff you can do, and we live on the top of a mountain. We live at 7,000 feet elevation, 12,000 feet if you want to actually go up skiing up there. But so it's a relatively. There's like 70,000 people here, and half of them are college students, because we have a Northern Arizona University here. So technically, if you take them out, it's really like 30-something thousand kind of full-time people that live here. So kind of going back there and seeing stuff, I think that'll be our next.
Nice little getaway, something quiet, enjoyable. What is a gift you've always wanted but never been gifted?
Gift I ever wanted, never gifted. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, here comes Lauren. She's put down the kids. That was kind of rough, huh? A little rough, huh? She has some wine there.
I understand.
How much could you hear?
Huh?
How much could you hear?
There was some screaming.
Yeah.
I could hear. Yeah.
There was not. I'm kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know an answer. I don't really. Lauren will tell you. I'm not really big. I'm really hard to buy gifts for.
Oh God, he'll ask for something and I'll buy it. He'll use it once.
Yeah. So, well,
Yeah. That's true.
so yeah, I don't really think I have. Honestly, if I think about it, I don't really have an answer to that question. I don't
What
think
was your question?
What's something that gift that
He's always wanted but never got. Yeah.
Gotten.
Lululemon gift cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Lauren, my wife bought me season 8 of The Big Bang Theory, sealed on DVD.
Okay.
It's one of our favorite shows, and it took me 8 years to open it. So I just opened it.
Oh, I went the wrong way. Hi. I'm not sure if you heard the screaming, so I'm gonna hide off camera.
No worries.
Hi.
No worries. We got kids in the house too.
You guys talking about controls, and I just want to talk about how much I appreciate controls.
Yeah, she's literally a controller. So.
Oh, I'm in now.
Oh, okay.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I widened the view a little bit for you.
Okay. Good to know. TJ.
So you're a controller at work?
Yes, I work at Northern Arizona University, actually.
Okay.
That's so loud. But it's public. I mean, when you work for the government, you can always find people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So finance controlling?
Yes, finance. So we work, specifically I work at the foundation. So I help manage the endowments and all the different charitable giving that comes into the university and help work on scholarships and things like that. Okay.
Very good. Very
good.
Ray?
That's Ray. Shining Cards and Collectibles.
Okay, I was wondering. Ray, you can get wrecked.
Yeah.
So glad I
Good love. Good love. Yeah. Things get really personal after a good Collecticon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on.
Did you make it out there as well, Lauren? Did you go?
Yeah, the whole gang was there. So what have I gone to 2 now? I went to Long Beach and Los Angeles.
Yeah. I've only been to 2. Yeah.
I thought you went to one with your dad. What was that thing you went to in Vegas?
Oh, that was Pokemon Saves the World. Yeah, that was not a collectible.
Oh, that's different. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a lot. I mean, we were in there for like 2 minutes, and I saw some guy go, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I know you.
I know. So that was cool.
I like when people like I recognize Ray, but sometimes people come up and like you need to at least say your username or something. So like
give something.
Yeah, I'm not awkwardly like I don't want to be rude, but I'm not sure sometimes who it is. But luckily, I was always like who they are. It's like, oh yeah.
Nobody thinks you're rude.
Yeah.
Well, if you're coming in after Dan, trust me, everybody sees you and they think you're an angel. Dan, they go to give Dan a handshake and he just kind of nods at him.
Really?
Go away.
Dan?
Yeah. He doesn't even shake hands. He just gives a nod and just turns to the next customer.
Dan, if we meet in person, I want more than a nod.
Yeah. That's ridiculous, Dan.
Small.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep moving here so we can give you some time back. I know, Lauren, that I want to give you back the night with James, so we'll do a quick wrap up here and make sure you have some family time, okay? Appreciate you sharing them with us.
Yeah, I'm always happy to. I've been watching as much as I could.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think it's been on the iPad out there.
No, it was on the Alexa.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to know the next one, James. Why don't you buy snowshoes? It seems like a very simple thing.
Yeah, why don't we buy snowshoes?
Uh-oh. I thought I plugged it in.
It's
Sorry.
not plugged in.
That is the pizza.
Oh, just turn it off.
Yeah.
So the first year we were here, we had been here. It was like, I don't know. We'd moved into this house in September, and a few months later it was snowing, and we were like, oh my gosh, we don't have any snow gear. So we went to REI, which is like 5 minutes from here. And we started looking around at shoes, and this girl came up and was like, do you guys need any help? We were like, we're just looking for snowshoes. And she literally went,
yeah.
And I'm like, it was like November. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, are they sold out for good? And she's like, yep, they're gone for it's in motion. And they're gone for the season. I'm like, what kind of business is that? Like, this is, we get the most of our snow in March, and this was so early.
I know.
So that's part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the first year we were here, it's like
back.
30 or 40 inches
Total.
And last year, yeah.
Last year was when I started drinking wine.
Yeah, that was 160 something inches.
160 inches. Have you ever heard of thunder snow?
No.
Yep.
Tell me. Educate me.
One night in the middle of the night, I woke up and it's like 3 a.m. I think I was pregnant, and I'm like insomnia, and I'm looking out the front window, and all of a sudden, and it's a blizzard. I mean, a legitimate blizzard. So it's like pitch black, but not, because there's so much snow. And all of a sudden there's just lightning everywhere. And I had no idea that it could do that, but that's called thunder snow. And it's like, I really for a minute was like, is this the apocalypse?
Grab the ball of wine, James.
I know. I almost woke him up. I was like, calm down. And so I Googled it, and it's called thunder snow.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying.
I never knew that.
Crazy.
First time. Learn something new.
Anyway, sorry, I've totally taken over.
That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. You'll like this next one, Lauren. And don't answer it first. Let James answer it first, and then you tell him if he got it right.
Okay.
What do you think your wife loves about you most? This is family friendly.
Oh God. His face is turning a little red.
Yeah.
Better get it right, or else you're sleeping in the car.
I'll just make more videos.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
We'll go back to videos at that point.
What do you like the most? Probably, I don't know. Probably that I'm just honest and loyal, maybe? No.
That was a no.
Kindness.
I think James says, like, I never have to get my own gas, and I never even have to think about it. When he hears me start to wake up, and he's already making coffee for me. And so it's like the little things that tell me that he knows me and cares.
But sometimes I forget coffee,
Not very, but don't worry, I'll let him know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's your coffee.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, we actually, just funny story. We just ran out of coffee the other morning. I always make it for my wife, and I bring it to her to wake her up. Well, we ran out, and I forgot. So I said, well, in the morning, I wake up at 3. And so I made some tea, some yerba mate tea. I said, okay, that's fine. I'll use tea this morning. So I got to wake my wife up. I said, all right, sweetheart, we don't have any coffee, but I can make you some tea. Would you like your tea? She goes, what do you mean there's no coffee? Aren't you going to go to the store? I'm like, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to the store. Let me go. I'll go grab some coffee. So I did not get away with that one.
Yeah. How long have you been married?
We got married. We actually got together in 2010. We got married about a year after that. So
that's great.
Yeah.
2 kids, 9 and 5.
Oh, I love
2
that.
boys. Yeah, 2 boys. Yeah.
Oh, we have 2 girls. I'm sure you're going to talk about it. Anyway, Pokemon rocks.
Go Pokemon. That's right. We're actually heading off into the personal stuff, so it's good timing.
Good. Okay.
Tell me a little bit, James, about where you grew up. Where you grew up and how you grew up. What was it like?
So I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was a good childhood. Just my dad was ran his own business. He was an artist. So that was really good. I think it's something that I really we look at, strive for is running a business, that's like, you don't want to be one of those people. It's like, your kid comes up to you and wants to do something. It's like, no, I got to work, like that's not, and that's something that really, I appreciated about, well, my mom was stay at home until much later, and then she went back to work. But so she was always there. And then my dad, it was like, no matter what he was working on, if I came up and it's like, I want to throw the ball, or I wanted to, go to the park or something, it's like, yep. It was never like, no, I got to do this, go do something else. So, yeah, it was really good. It was really, very attentive, to whatever, so what?
Sorry. This is giving Bobby Altoff vibes when she interviewed Drake in bed. I hope not.
The green chills. Josh.
God.
Josh never changed.
No, I'm not even. I've gotten way too deep into that rabbit hole. Yes, James's childhood is.
Yeah,
we always strive for that. Like what he talks about, I think it sounds beautiful.
But yeah, so that's why it's like, we're growing this business, but we want to, not, if it ever gets too busy or something, like, we just, we just need to,
quit.
Hire somebody else and get it to where the workflow is right, and kind of keep going. So
I hope you can do that. It sounds like you're already set up in a pretty good way to make sure that stays a possibility.
Yeah.
Can't say I've always done the best there myself. It's been quite crazy over the past 10 years with the kids, but yeah, we definitely try to make as much time as possible, and it's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Totally.
What kind of artist was your dad?
He did everything. I mean, he would do. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff. He's done war memorials, like actual like statues. He's done busts for like Hall of Fames. I think he did a lot of them for like San Francisco 49ers. He's done a lot of those. He's done like Baseball Hall of Fame stuff. He's done like like 50-foot, like there's like water slides that will like go through like a jaguar head. Like he would make the entire thing. It was like made out of foam. He'd take a chainsaw. He's like, once again, it was like one of those people. It's like he's like, oh, I've never done that. When he got that project, this was like a water park in Cincinnati, and they had to make this giant snakes that were like over the water park, and this slide that went through a jaguar head. And he thought that they, when they said 50, they meant 50 inches, and it was 50 feet that he had to make this thing. So he's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just make that work. So yeah, he did really anything to just try to, anything that would make, money and support, the family is really, what he was doing. So, it's hard as an artist, trying to get, so whatever work came in.
Yeah, but so yeah, you take whatever comes in and you find a creative way to solve the problem, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you end up meeting your wife?
Match.com.
Yeah, for real?
Match.com, yeah. Yeah.
He was the first person I went out with, and then I just like stopped.
Yeah.
I was like, you're stuck.
Yeah. So we had that, and that was
That's funny.
We got married in
So it was in 2014.
Yeah. Which is a few years.
And then about 1 year, every time he went to hold my hand, I would only give him this finger.
Yeah. Very subtle.
Because I wanted him to put a ring on it.
Yeah.
So he'd hold it, and I would just give him that.
Yeah. Hold that.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Stage 5 clinger.
Josh.
It's funny that my wife and I actually met online as well. She was on Match, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And we met on, it was freedates.com or some cheap website. And half the time it didn't even work. We tried to exchange messages, and we thought the other person wasn't reading it, and they were just not responding. And actually, the site wasn't working. But yeah, we met online as well, and that's how we got started. So after the first date, we canceled all of our other dates, and that was it. Yep.
Yeah, it took me a little while longer. I wasn't sure. He was a little shy. And I remember
thought.
we went to the Musical Instrument Museum in Phoenix. I was going to say Flagstaff in Phoenix. And afterwards, he dropped me off at this condo I lived in. And I was like, well, let me know if you want to hang out again. And he was like, I think it's pretty obvious. And I was like, it's not obvious. And but then anyway.
Yeah. So
that cleared things up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like to talk, honestly.
Seriously?
I really don't. Like it's shocking that all this came from like YouTube, like the business stuff. I do not like to talk to people. I don't have many friends.
Yesterday, my boss said to me, I watched one of James's video and all my husband could say was, I've never heard James talk so much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
don't feel bad. Yeah. I might hang out with my neighbor for like a cookout, but like even that's about it. Like, and I'm the guy who sits there and I'm quiet and like, everything okay? Is like, yep, just fine.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you love that? Are you okay? You're being so quiet.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It actually makes me want to talk more. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate the encouragement.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We thought about
it. Right outside of Charlotte. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We don't have the mountains quite as close though.
Yeah. That's where our lister one of our employees is in North Carolina.
And one of your best friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Rusty's out here too. Yeah.
I was looking at South Carolina too. I feel like that's a good part of the country to be in. It's close proximity to. You can get to the oceans. You can get to a mountain.
Yep.
You can get to a lot of things.
Exactly. Not too hot, not too cold. Yeah. You got
humid.
Beach a couple hours away. Mountains really close. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure humidity is the best thing in the world for people's bodies. So I feel like.
You feel like
it's pretty humid compared to like West Virginia. That's where my grandmother is. So she comes here and she says, "Oh, it's way too humid. I can't stay." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah,
I'll take you back."
I mean, I think it's the best thing in the world for your skin. I think it makes your. I'm passionate about.
Yeah, we have like no humidity up here.
It's the driest place in the world.
We used to live in. I think Phoenix is a little drier.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
at all. Actually,
Arizona very dry.
I'll put you on the spot here, James. Tell me what's your favorite thing about your wife?
I'm interested.
Favorite thing. There's so many things. There's so many things to pick from. I don't know. I don't know if I can pick a favorite
I think it's my shopping habit.
I don't think I can pick a favorite thing.
Just come up with one. It's fine.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of the favorite thing. It's tough to think of a favorite thing. So many things.
I'm a little nervous about this pause, this delay.
Well, I think it's her heart, probably. I think she's very just passionate about a lot of things and very, loving about it, and wants to really to rack up credit card points. Josh, just her, like she'll stop for like anybody, any dog, anything. She just really likes people. Where are you moving?
I'm getting a little embarrassed.
It's like, she's a nonprofit, right now. And, she just, she's got a big heart. Whereas, I'm more of a.
If it were up to me, I'd give away all of our money.
I'm more of a cynic, more of a. I see most people are good, but sometimes I see sometimes I think people are trying to, pull the wool over your eyes, more than they are. But, yeah, she always sees the good in people, so it's a good balance. I'm more of a
brings the bright side.
Yeah, a cynic on a lot of things. But
what's your favorite thing about your wife?
I would have to say the support that she gives me and the family. She is so dedicated. Every day she's making sure we have the best foods, all taken care of in terms of, we do a lot of like health-based medicines. She's making sure we got all the natural medicines. She's researching what she can do next. And all of that without us having to ask for anything. Of course, in her loss of sleep and her behind at work, you name it, she puts the family first. And I love that most about her. Yeah.
I love that. I also really like how you didn't pause. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I had a long time to think while James was waiting.
We'll talk about this later. We're going to circle back offline.
Circle back offline.
This is going to be the end of the conversation where James never talks to us again. So
No.
I ruined that one. Yeah, perfect.
I was just surprised you didn't say it was because I'm like immensely funnier than him.
Well, she is funnier than me. Not as funny as our top, though. She's definitely the funniest.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the kids, they can push the boundaries. They got no filter.
She is the funniest person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Tonight she said, Mommy, can I get a smooch? And I'm like, heck yeah. And so I lean over and I fall for it every time. And as soon as I go to give her a kiss, she licks me.
Yeah.
And it's jarring every time. I'm like, oh, you know? And she goes, I licked you. I'm like, yeah, I know.
So you have a big heart. You're very trusting. See?
I love it. I love it. She always gives second chance. Oh, every time.
It's because I'm just hoping.
Yeah.
Just hoping she's actually bringing me a smooch.
Very hopeful. Yes.
We see a lot of your support here as well, Lauren. I mean, you've been a huge supporter, working in the business, helping out. Of course, right there, always want to be first in the chats and the comments.
Yeah, because I'm competitive.
You're competitive.
Yeah, but thank you. I am very supportive.
Yeah, but she's very supportive. Yes.
What is your passion, Lauren?
You're getting shy.
I'm sorry.
What is your passion?
I mean, as silly as it sounds, my family, but I'm also really into music. I sing in a local choir, and I'm on the board of the choir, and I really enjoy like community performances, and just, like I like going to theater and all of that. Basic trainer, but yes, I think that's probably the thing I like the most. Aside from, I honestly have. I think my biggest love besides my family is accounting. And I realize that makes me a nerd. But I get really excited by it. And I really enjoy it.
Everything zeroing out, having the even, clean numbers. Is that it?
Yeah,
the outcome?
It's that. It's like it's a big puzzle. And like it's black and white most of the time. So there's always rules. And I really like rules. And so I think it's all of it. I like to teach it. I like to talk about it. I like to learn new things about it. I like to give me a messy reconciliation and I'll dig in, and I really like it.
I've told her, and she's good on camera. She is, and she's really passionate about accounting. I said, you should start some kind of accounting YouTube channel. You really should. I mean, it's just, like I was saying, like people that are passionate about stuff, people watch, you know, and
you'd be surprised
about sleeping.
Well, you can also sleep. You know?
But yeah.
YouTube video, grow the followings, go to sleep. Have a wine, glass of wine, then go to sleep. Yeah.
Wine and accounting. That could be YouTube.
That's it.
You know.
That's it.
Yeah.
Whiny accounting.
And you progressively have less rules the more you.
They say progressively have less wine, and I'm like,
you're like, that's below the
that
threshold.
Didn't work.
Dan, you want to start a podcast about accounting with me?
I'm about to say Dan's the perfect one. He's been wanting to do a finance podcast for years.
I'll do it.
There it is.
Dan
wants to start a finance channel.
The problem is Dan's also committed to the food truck that's also selling slabs, so it's going to be called Slabs and Slabs. So he's got a couple of business ventures going
really
on.
Like that.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
We could call it Slabs and Sheets for Excel.
There we go. And so we actually can do teaching of accounting out of the back of the food truck. So you eat, buy a slab, and then there you go. There we go. Free person.
I love it.
So
all right.
And,
we will wrap it up here, James, and give you back some time. Just two more questions, and we'll go from there. You know, knowing when to change direction in the business, determining the factors of when something's not working, can really make or break having that business be successful or completely failing. And you've seemed to navigate that as times have changed and know when to pull that trigger. What would be some of the factors and perspectives you would want to share for somebody else to say, look, this is when you might want to look at change?
You know, I think, you know, it's not just like you do something and it like doesn't work, because sometimes you haven't found the right way to do it yet. You know, everything has not everything has a formula, but there's a lot of people that have probably done whatever you're thinking about doing successfully. I mean, probably almost anything out there has been done. I mean, maybe you'll get some unique idea that's never been done before, but for the most part, you're probably starting a business and something that's been done before. So if it's something that does have an audience, if you're looking like a creative outlet, or if it does have something like business wise, a marketplace, there is a way to be successful at it. And the one big thing I will say is that I've never, like, when I first started out, messaging, whether it was Rusty or Gem Mint or anybody on E4, like Dan, like in an early E4, like 2017, like I was talking to him, or Gary or somebody, there's nobody who would like not be happy to like help and answer a question. Like maybe they took a while to get back, or maybe they just missed the message, and that's just something. But if you're having like a struggle with something, just reach out to any. There are so many people in this, doing whatever you're doing. Probably, just reach out and kind of pick their brain, and if the worst thing that can happen is they don't answer. But even when I was just like a username on E4, or didn't have had 10 feedback on eBay, no matter who I asked, big or small, like they usually came back with some kind of answer, or kind of helped in some way. So I think a big thing is that you just reach out if you are trying something, and maybe you just aren't seeing something. I mean, like some of the people I talk to most, like Dan is technically a competitor to me. We both do the same thing, but we talk about things all the time. That's not like, it's a big fallacy that if someone's doing something you're doing, like a competitor, it's like, wow, I need to, like, they're the enemy. That's something that there's a marketplace, there's like X amount of people, and I can only get X amount of those people. So anybody else is an enemy. That's not really how it works. Like when I was in corporate America, like when I was in like these meetings with, might be the Monday meeting with like the VPs and the president of the division, it was like the people they talk to most are the competitors. Like that's who they talk to. Like this president would talk to this president. Like if you don't think the number one person that Coke talks to is Pepsi, like that's probably wrong. Like I guarantee, like they talk to each other the most. So
we do that all the time. Like with universities, we reach out to other universities and try to understand their policies and
and you guys are looking for like
program.
Funds and
how do they structure an endowment? I think it's really common.
Okay. There's enough for everybody. There's enough to go around. That's for sure. Yeah. Sharing the knowledge is a nice way.
Dan, we can talk on our podcast about how you really feel.
What's there? I'm missing the hint there. What was it? Juicy?
Oh, Jay Cincy 101.
Oh, yeah, that was my username on E4. That was the 2017 days, 2016, 2017 days.
That was his username on Match.com too.
Nice. Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I don't know if Dan had a different. He might have a slightly different one, but I think it was still the same.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Copy paste. All right. So one day, James, we're all gonna leave the hobby, and hopefully we do it peacefully, happily, and joyfully. What legacy do you hope to leave behind when you're gone, James?
A legacy. I think probably the legacy, like I was talking about my dad, probably the legacy I'd probably want to leave is just, we grew this to literally as big as we possibly could. We went down the rabbit hole, and we went as far as it goes, and it's not for like, Dan, he talks about like how much is enough. It's like, well, we're just trying to get, someone who's, a runner who is like the best in his school, it's like, well, he wants to try to be the best. Maybe he wants to be the best in the state, the best in the region, the best in the country, and then make the Olympics and stand on that stage. We're just trying to, go as far as we possibly can in this business. But at the same time, we want to also leave a legacy of, our kids knowing that, they were number one, that they were the number one, they remember us for, the times we spent with them, not us running a business, no matter how big it gets. So I think that's probably what I would probably want it to be. What about you? What a legacy?
I guess when I think about, well, there's a couple ways to think about it. What I hope people think about Z&G Emporium is that it's fair and honest and has integrity. And that's just the legacy we always leave behind. Is dealing with James was, I was always confident in dealing with him because I knew he'd do the right thing. Somebody asked me this week, like, when you think about your eulogy, what do you want it to say? Do you want it to be like a resume, like a list of your accomplishments? Or do you want it to be filled with anecdotes from the people that loved you, about the things that you did with them? And for me, it's the latter. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either of those. I just think when I try to think about what I value and what my priorities are, it's relationships, because a job will always replace you, but your family can't replace you. They can. Anyway, that got a little deep.
No, keep going.
But you know what I mean? I think that I think it's important to define your priorities. And for us, it's our family, and it's our, I don't want to say reputation, like that we care so much what people think, but just being true to our word is so important. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but recently James caught somebody shielding his own items, and he was so upfront and so direct with it, and just no nonsense. And that's what I admire about him as a businessman. Like, it's very likely that guy was going to pay for it, and he was going to set the floor, and James could have made a commission on it that was good. But it wasn't the right thing to do. And he always looks at situations ethically. And I think that's important because I just think that's what we value. We don't value money. We don't value profits over people. We value people.
You said it. Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
I've been saying that phrase for years. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think those are the things that I think are important to both of us, is leaving a positive and a good memory for people that we work with, but most importantly for our family.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't speak for inside the family, but definitely from the outside, you're nailing it. So keep up the great work, and we hope to see you for many, many, many more years.
Me too. My toddler might have disagreed with you about an hour ago, but
that's all right.
I think she's on board now.
Yeah. She got the right Girl Scout cookies and hopefully found some Cheetos. So I think we're set.
Oh my God! Thank God I found Trader Joe's style Cheetos, and I just put them in a bowl and handed to him, and she went, "You sure?" I said, "Yep, those are Cheetos," and she said, "Okay." And went to bed. She said, "I don't want you to give me any rubs tonight, Mommy." Right, just don't yell at me.
Cheap Cheetos.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's hilarious. Well, James, Lauren, thank you so much for your time. Deeply appreciate it. And we'll let you get back to your night. And you still got some hours left, so try to enjoy it. Everybody in the chat as well, thank you so much for hanging out. Deeply appreciate it. Good conversations, lots of laughs. And, of course, we always love seeing everybody here. James, we'll be in touch. Lauren, I hope to see you again. Hope maybe at Charlotte Collecticon, perhaps.
Thank you so much for letting me crash and overtalk.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
It was nice.
Everybody, we have a good night. We'll talk to you on the next Pokemon Rants. See you soon.
Bye.